Today on my channel, Planner Friends, I'm going to go through a little bit of this study called Peace for the Anxious Heart. It's from the Daily Grace Co. And what I'm going to talk to you is about this section here on anxiety and relationships. And I found it so meaningful and so important. I can't wait to share it with you. And wherever you might be in your relationships, we all know people in our life who are problematic, unfortunately, that are difficult, that try to make our lives difficult. Here's some great answers, and let's start with Psalm 18. So please, friends, join me. Hello, Planner Friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm One Crafty Dolo, and I'm so happy you're here with me today on Sundays on my channel. It's always about faith studies, prayer journals, faith journals, and I always have a good cup of tea, and today it's from I Went Out. So it's a Friday afternoon, and I am going to upload this Sunday, so this is kind of a last minute video, but a video I've been thinking about all week. If you're new, you're welcome to join my growing community on the internet. I hope that it's a happy place. That's what I'm creating here, and you are welcome to join us, please. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for the gift of your time. So I want to flip through. I finished my August faith study a little early this week. I have been now in, oh goodness, now the traffic's picking up. Sorry about that. I have been in ring binders doing faith studies. It's just about 3.5 years, which I cannot believe. I do multiple studies. I'm doing all kinds of things. So I'm going to do this isn't going to be a long video. Right now, I'm in one of my Daily Grace Co studies. This is Peace for the Anxious Heart. And I deal with anxiety, and I'm always transparent about it. So I wanted to show you how I'm doing this and what I'm doing. This is supposed to be a 4-week study. As if. Not even a chance. I'm taking this in depth, and I want to share that with you because so often we think, oh, I have to do this a certain way, or oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or oh, I can't, I don't. Yes, you do. Trust yourself. And just because this is supposed to be 4 weeks, it's going to take me a lot longer than that, shall we say. So, yeah. What I've been doing, every Daily Grace Co study has verses to read before you delve into the text, which often has more verses. And so this is about anxiety. There was the intro. So she talks about, or they talk about anxiety in the body, anxiety and trauma, how to work through that, and anxiety and relationships. Now, truth be told, this, which is supposed to take a day, took me 3 weeks. 3. Not 1 day, not 1 week, 3. And I want to talk to you about why. And I found a new favorite psalm, Psalm 18. It's fabulous. You need to read it. I'll share it with you. And then next week, I'll be going into anxiety and faith, which I think will be really a good read. Now, these studies always have questions. Again, it says daily, but I like to do this in depth. I am a bit of a nerd. Full tilt here. So I don't mind admitting that with you and sharing it, because my knowledge in the past 3.5 years, wow, has really expanded. And I feel that the more I learn, the more I want to know, the more in depth I'm going. Let me bring you in a little closer if you don't mind. Okay. There we go. So this was the trauma, and, that's a good chapter, but I really want to talk about the anxiety and relationships. So first off, before I get into it, I did a short on this, but I did stencil with inks. I used border stencils that I have, and that was really simple. I added them some stickers. These are Happy Planner. These I found at Pop Shelf. from American Crafts. So you can really dig around and find inexpensive stickers when you can. These are Happy Planner. I like some of these. My method has been, as I've gone on with this now, I quote the verses. So, for example, this had Psalm 18 as the read ahead, right? And so next, yeah, it was Psalm 18. So I really dug into it and I was quoting a lot of it. Next week is Romans, part of Romans, and 2 Corinthians 12, verses 1 through 10. So I'll read those through. But one of the reasons I should say that it takes me longer to get through these is because I'm digging in that deeply. I don't want to just read the verse and then go on reading the whole passage, and I give myself the gift of time. Okay, let me share with you some of Psalm 18, just because it's that good. I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress, my deliverer, my God, my rock in whom I take refuge. I want you to think about, and this is a really good chapter, and that's partially why I took so long on it. I want you to think about whomever, how many ever, wherever people have been less than kind to you. People have been mean to you. People have been dismissive and rude and cutting and aggressive and passive aggressive, etc. Now reframe your experiences through that passage. O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress, my deliverer, in whom I take refuge. And that's the pivot point for this entire chapter here. And it makes sense because, again, let's go further and I'll explain more. Psalm 18:3, I call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. And Psalm 18, verse 16, he sent me on from high. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. Boom. Going to verse 17. He rescued me from my strong enemy and from those who hated me, for they were too mighty for me. In other words, okay, and it goes on. And the idea, when you apply this to relationships, and I ended up where there's an arrow, it's my words, and then I quoted the text with quotes as well. And when it's a Bible verse, I, make sure I recognize it. God made us to live together with others. Sin enters the world and destroys our relationship. And as such, and this is really important, and I think women, but men too, I guess, as such, we can rely excessively on others when we need to first rely on God. The world, and this is my extrapolation from all the text in the verse, the world, as a result of sin, tells us that our sense of worth, love, security, all depends on others, and that's wrong. And I'm quoting the text here. In these unhealthy relationships, we can cling tightly to the other person and become anxious over our relationship with them. The good news of the gospel equals lessening our grip and dependence on others. That's not just a mic drop. That's like a bomb drop. Jesus offers us freedom from toxic relationships, from depending excessively on others, for gauging our worth based on what other people think. Our relationships suffer because of the authors call misguided worship. It harms our relationship with God and hurts us in other relationships. And then Psalm 18, the end, 31, verse 31, for who is God but the Lord, and who is a rock except our God? I got to tell you, this really spoke to me on many levels. And so I don't know where you are on your path right now. Maybe you've been through a difficult relationship with a family of origin member, or a family you created with a spouse or a significant other. Maybe it's a friendship that exploded. Maybe it could be a child who's just obdurate and difficult and obstinate and you can't reach them. Okay, let's try this again. God is our rock and refuge, yet when we run to others, we treat them as our rock and refuge. People are not designed for this purpose because they're human. They will fail us. Our relationships cannot support the weight of this dependency. In the moments we find ourselves afraid, God is the one we should run to. Jesus, our Savior, gives us an answer to all the darkness we're facing here on earth. And why, and I'm talking to myself here and I'm reminding you, why do we forget this? Why is this not front and center in our daily lives? I need to answer that probably just as much, if not more than you. Right? Now you see why it took me a month to get, or 3 weeks to get through this one section. By dying on the cross and rising from the grave, Jesus provides all who trust in him redemption, restoration, and rescue. Often we can look to others to make us free, feel known and loved, While it is good to allow others to love and care for us, their love will always pale in comparison to Christ's love for us. And then the final verse in the section was from 1 John 4:19. We love because he first loved us. As I said when I got on here, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this and to go through it. But this spoke to me personally, and I want to reach out to you as well and to tell you that if you're in a situation like this, step back, pray it up, trust. There's a dumb reality star who always used to say, ask, believe, receive. And I thought that was obnoxious because it's like, I'm sorry, God's not a short order cook or a wait staff. You know, they're not on, God isn't on demand. Ask, believe, accept. That's the crucial part that was missing from her equation. Then receive. There have been times, I can think of one time in particular, I was dating someone and it wasn't good. And I got on my knees and I said, you know what? I need you to take this from me. And like 2 days later, the person ended the relationship. And I looked up at the heavens and I thought, alrighty, I got the message. I was in a state with that person saying, this is years, decades ago, but I was saying, I don't know what to do with this. I'm not happy. Should I break it up? Am I doing the right thing? And God took care of it. Now, we don't always get our answers that quickly, but I really recommend this study to anybody who maybe has anxiety like I do, and I'm transparent here on my channel. But also, if you're wrestling with trauma, if you're wrestling with grief, if you're wrestling with relationships, how to reframe them for you. Okay, this isn't something I'm sharing with people who wronged me. I'm just sharing it with my closest friends on the internet. You know what I'm saying? This is work for me. And so next week is anxiety and faith, scripture memory, weekly reflection. Okay, then and then they get into, and this is where I can't wait for it, is people from the Bible and anxiety that they experience. So Moses, anxiety over inadequacy. Jonah, afraid of the future. Martha, anxious toil. Peter, drowning in anxiety. Paul, burdened for others. Jesus, anxious before the cross. And then it goes into, humbly casting your cares, trusting God's hand, hope for anxiety. This has been a really great study. I do like my daily Grace Coast studies, and I do believe I will continue them into 2025. I am currently looking ahead, what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. I want it all wrapped up into the fall so I don't have to worry about Black Friday and all that consumerism and stuff. So, and if you sign up for the emails from the Daily Grace Co, you get a discount, and unfortunately they pepper you with emails constantly, but when they're having a good sale, I do take advantage of it. So let's walk this walk together, friends. And again, the Lord is your strength, your rock and your fortress, your deliverer. My rock in whom I take refuge. That's what I'm going to leave you with for Sunday. And prayers for the week ahead. If I can pray for you, it doesn't matter if you're in turmoil. Well, it does matter if you're in turmoil, but whether you're good, bad, or otherwise, and you would like some extra prayer, drop it in the comments below. It's my honor and my privilege to lift you up in prayer, friends. Thank you for being here. I hope we all have a blessed week, and I'm really going to put this idea front and center going forward. Thanks for being here, friends. Planner and Faith friends, have a blessed week. Bye now.